Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Self Improvement Sunday live stream. What a blessing it is for me to be here, sharing this message, speaking life into you, holding myself accountable 1% better every single day. How many of y'all are joining that movement? 1% better each and every day. No days off. It's so easy, right? We're right in the midst of holiday season. And it's like, man, you've been working hard. You've been putting in that work. And it's like, you deserve it, right? Don't you deserve to take all kinds of time off? What does that even mean to you? Does taking time off mean checking the fuck out? Literally just like dropping everything and being like, I'm just going to be, in the backwards prone position, just post it up. And if that's where you find yourself right now, I think it's not an accident that you're here today, because I do have another worksheet available for you. If you haven't already, download the Results Kill Excuses app, free, simple, easy to do. Just type in those magic words, download the app, and when you go to the printed material section, in there today is 2024 Matters. Good morning, everyone. And we're going to come up with 9 things that matter between now and New Year's Day, 2025. It's one of the most important practices that I do every single day. And I've got something really special that I'm cooking up to share with all of you. But part of my daily journaling practice is a few things. I always start with gratitude and things that I love. Then I get into a list of things that I did good or right yesterday. And I'm going to tell you, that's a challenging thing. It's actually probably one of the hardest things to do, especially if you got that inner critic just constantly beating you down, constantly kicking your ass up and down the block every single day, not knowing why you're your own worst enemy. But to literally sit there and just tell yourself, like, man, what did you do good yesterday? What are some of the things that you're doing that, like, you can pause for just a moment to celebrate? How hard is that for us to try and find those things? I'm telling you, I could sit there for probably 10 minutes to just come up with 3-4 things because of how hard I am on myself. Do you relate to this? But the beautiful thing is that if you've been negatively programmed and you are being controlled by that critic, that inner critic that's so relentless, it ain't going to give up. It's not going to tap out. You have to amplify your positivity. And the way you amplify your positivity is by doing what? Infusing your mind with positivity, taking actions that actually put that critic to rest. You're not good enough. You can't do it. You're too tired. I don't feel like it. And it's like, then when you go and do things, even when your brain is saying, I don't feel like it, and then you go and do it, whole new input, a whole new breakthrough. It's a revelation comes through. It's like, wait, time out. I did do it. Now what do I do? Now what happens when you step past that limiting belief? You can't do it, and then you go and do it, and then you live to tell the story. What happens then? Right? Who are you on the other side when you break past those mental and emotional, spiritual, and even sometimes physical barriers? And yet, for me to sit there every day, and I want to share this with you, is to sit there and say, what am I doing good? What am I doing right? And you can apply this to anything. If you're just getting out of a relationship, right? And you're all heartbroken and beat down and real down on yourself, saying, oh man, no one's ever going to love me ever again. The way that I recap the ending of something, it could be a job, or it could be really anything that's come to a conclusion, is you do a recap. What did you do good and what did you do right? Because, when something ends, just like anything, we draw to all the negativity. It's in our DNA. It's in our human nature that somehow we magnify the negativity, the bad things 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more than we give ourselves any credit for. You know what? You did a lot of things good. There was growth in there. You handled yourself different. Maybe you even re-empower yourself to say, I'm going to redefine what I consider to be failure. Just because something ends, does that make me a failure? Or does that just make that an ending to that, but it's actually leading to something even better if you keep going? And then that leads me to the other side of my journal, which is I always write areas that I can improve, where can I get better? What could I have done better yesterday? And a lot of this stuff is just spiritual stuff. It's like, staying more positively minded, loving more and more people unconditionally, believing that everything that I'm doing in this time and space is actually worthwhile, regardless if someone says, dude, there's plenty of people doing this. Believing in your dreams, believing that you're worthy of it. And then today, I appreciate everyone that's in here right now. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to write a list of 9 things that matters. And that's a part of my journaling. My daily journaling is I do 3 things that matter to me. And this has been a real big shift that I think will help you to succeed more, to really start to see more growth, more progress, more traction, which is, that's where real happiness comes from, is when you're actually looking back on your life and feeling like you can see some progress. And that's a really tough thing, because I put the challenge out there this week to say, can you look back a year from now in your camera roll, and can you review this past year and see some real significant growth and transformation in your life? Or did this year just literally blow right by? You got caught up in some of the lows and you got stuck there. And now you're like, are you fucking kidding me? A whole nother year's gone. I'm still here. I'm still stuck. I ain't got nothing to really show for it. Same place, same time, same channel. And the saying is true. If nothing changes, nothing changes. But if one thing changes, then everything changes. And what's the thing that you have the most control over? Yourself, your mind. You don't think you have control over your mind. But if you start living more intentional, then guess what? You can actually start to empower yourself to get the results, to start experiencing life in a new way. But will you give yourself permission? It all boils down to you. Ain't nobody in your way. I know you think people are in your way. I know you want to believe that other people are holding you back, that other people are the ones holding you down. No, 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 no. It's you. You may have emotional, invisible attachments to certain people or certain things, right? That you're like, I can't do life without this. Well, I heard a can't. And I know that there's a different version of you that says, I can try doing life without this, right? Both answers are right. Which one do you want to live by? Do you want to write the greatest story ever told, the ending of your story from this day forward, regardless of what happened in the past? Do you want to be empowered with this little thing right here, a pen and a piece of paper, for you to literally tell the most incredible story ever told from this point forward? And the beautiful thing is, in order to do that, a lot of you are going to have to go and look back and redefine the past, release the past, free yourself from the past. And the way that that is done has been a big subject that's come up this week. What subject's that? Starts with an F. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. How do we forgive? How do we let go? How do we let go? And now's the time. Now's the time. And that's what's so beautiful. Again, if you're just jumping on here, welcome. I'm so grateful to be here with you. I know this is not an accident, right? We are truly on a collision course with destiny, and our destiny is right now. And yes, the pen is mightier than the sword, because this pen with a piece of paper and your heart, mind, and soul present, you can literally write anything you want to be your story. You can write the greatest story, you can write a mediocre kind of mid story, or you can just continue to allow for the same old story to happen. Another year goes by and you're older, right? You're weaker, because the truth is you're either getting better or you're getting worse. That's just it. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no in between. There's no, oh, I'm just kind of minding my own business and I'm in kind of cruise control. I'm just chilling. That doesn't exist. That's just giving up. That's existing, which is literally going with the flow. And the only thing in the water that goes with the flow is dead fish. And so you have the strength, but it takes some forgiveness. And that's a big deal for a lot of people, because I feel you. I feel your pain. I feel the hurts. I know the letdowns, the betrayals, the heartbreaks, the abuse, right? The getting your ass beat by people that were assigned to love you unconditionally, being neglected, being betrayed, being harmed mentally, emotionally, and thinking that somehow time is going to just heal all that. It doesn't. Forgiveness is a one-way street. It's all about you. It's not about them. Ain't nobody going to crawl back to you. Please, please, please forgive me. Please, I'm so sorry. No one's going to do that. And that's why you have to sit there with yourself, with someone like me, right? And be able to really look at the past, look at the things that happen. And what it first takes is realizing, what have you done? I can tell you that's what helped me to really get through my forgiveness stage. My shadow work was first looking in my mirror, right? Seeing the dark side of who I am. And even though I'm not murderous, I'm not a liar or a thief or a cheater, just all these nasty things. I know that throughout my life, I've had that. I've had murderous thoughts. I've had murderous behaviors. I've been hateful. I've been manipulative. I've been a liar. I've been a cheater. And most of us, we like, oh, nah, man, that ain't me. I don't got to do that. I don't need to see that part of me. And then that's why you're going to continue to live in denial, which is a stage of grief. And to think that somehow your life is going to bloom and blossom and grow and expand, spiritually speaking, physically speaking, in any way, that's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge holding on, right, to denial of who you are, to acting as if you ain't hurt nobody. And I'm telling you, if you have been hurt mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically, someone else, someone that you should have trusted, usually this is childhood stuff. And some people don't even remember their childhood. It was so bad. But then some people also will carry around that hurt and that pain for the rest of their life, as if somehow it's still happening. And My heart goes out to you if that's the type of programming that you have. I hope that this message reaches you at a time where you can be more open-minded and realize that the pain that you experienced, you've held on to. And guess what? I can guarantee you, if you're honest with yourself, you have shared that pain with other people along your life path. And you may not correlate that, but maybe it's starting to the light is. I did go through some major shit when I was a little kid, and I've carried that with me throughout my life. And anytime someone has presented something similar to the person that was hurting you, you protected yourself by either hurting them or doing something to someone else that shouldn't have experienced that. So this whole thing is wrapped up in saying extreme ownership, to say, you know what, like the pain ends with me, right? You're literally being called right now to be the chosen one, the one to end the generational trauma, to end the ancestral passing of the painful, right, emotional trauma and those wounds. You can end it. Does it mean it's going to be an easy process? No. But you don't have to do it alone. And that's the beautiful thing, because many people, I'm not the only one, are stepping up, are stepping out finally. We've gone through our hermit phase and our tower moments and our seasons of separation and isolation, right? Where we're just out there in the wilderness, connecting with God, connected with nature, doing the work, doing that inner work. And now, guess what? Many people are starting to speak out about these things, because this is what we truly need collectively. We need to go through this healing process. Right? The government's not going to fix it. Your favorite celebrities aren't going to fix it. Your team winning the biggest game of the year is not going to fix any of your issues, any of your problems. Getting more money is not going to do it. Getting the lover you've always wanted isn't going to fix your issues. Right? The only thing that's going to solve your problems is your willingness to go throughout this spiritual journey, redefine your past, and truly write down the story and how you want your life to end, the impact you want to make on this planet. And most of that has to do with forgiveness. And so many people are so triggered by that, right? Because why? Because we were hurt. You were hurt. That person doesn't deserve your forgiveness. As if somehow that by you not forgiving them, that doesn't hurt them. Do you realize that? Unforgiveness is a self-inflicted wounding. Do you realize this? Most of y'all don't. I can guarantee you do not realize that when you have that bitterness in you and you're like, they don't deserve my forgiveness. They've never asked for forgiveness. They don't deserve it. Fuck that person. Fuck that situation. And it triggers you. You're angry, right? That doesn't do nothing to them. It's you. You're the person that's being hurt, because you're literally locking yourself into the past, into that moment, and every single day you reawaken that injury, emotionally speaking, that you don't even allow yourself to heal, to grow. But when you can get to a spiritual place where you see that you've made mistakes along your own path, right? When you can fully see with spiritual eyes, you know what? No one's innocent. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've hurt a lot of people, right? It's like when you fully start to see this stuff, you're like, oh, great. You know what? Yeah, this does all interconnect, because it never ends, right? It's like, what's those images where it's just a never ending mirror, a never ending reflection. That's you pointing, thinking that somehow when they finally say they're sorry, then and it's like then you'll forgive them. But it's like you won't forgive them. It'll never happen. It just keeps going and on and on and on and on and on because they need someone to tell them sorry, and they need someone to tell them sorry, and it's like, how far do you go back? How many generations do you go back to say, okay, who was the first person that started all this shit? The dominoes, right? Like, who was the first person that hurt the first person that then caused all of this perpetuation of pain, this passing of the baton of pain? My pain becomes your pain. That's why, if you haven't, the Results Kill Excuses app has one of the courses is hurting people do what? Hurt themselves first. Right. And that's just a reframe to take ownership. Yes, someone's hurt us. I've been hurt lots of times, as I see 11:11 Mountain Standard Time. And yet, I know I pass that pain on to other people, but I know that I'm hurting myself first and foremost. And if I can stop hurting myself by learning how to forgive myself, learning how to love myself, learning how to care for myself, which to me, a lot of this is all new. It's all new, right? Self-care, like to truly be mindful enough that you don't just do life oblivious, the same old things, living miserable, saying, I'm just getting by, man, life's tough. Choose your heart. Because if you start living life more intentionally and mindful, like you start looking in the mirror and looking at areas that you have control over, which is only you. You can never control what someone else does. If you do, then that's manipulation, and there's some issue, there's some red flags there, clearly. And even we can't control ourselves. I put out a video, and I'm always talking about this, so there's lots of videos out there, but I talk a lot about my own experience trying to control my anger. Would be a great example, right? Like I try to control my anger. I went to anger management class, and it's like they never got to the root of what was my problem, which I was sad underneath the surface, in denial of that sadness, unbeknownst to the sadness that I had experienced as a child, still carrying around child wounds. And yet the way that I communicated my sadness was by getting angry so that other people would feel scared and sad. Or, it's like scared. Right. And yet to be able to start taking care of yourself, right, is the most important thing that you could be doing. But yet so many of us think, oh, well, no, I have responsibilities. I have kids and I have to take care of all this other stuff. And it's like, but yeah, taking care of that isn't taking care of you. So who takes care of you? And the answer for most people is no, well, nobody's taking care of you. It's like bare minimum. And another course that's free on the Results Kill Excuses app is making over my relationships. Well, what relationship needs to be made over most? The one with ourselves. Most of us do life, will do an entire life, have done 30 years, 40 years, 50 years and beyond of life, and yet we don't really even have a relationship with ourselves. And you're the only person you're doing 365, 24/7 with. And you don't even understand yourself. You don't even love yourself. You don't even care about yourself. And one of the saddest parts, but it is, I think, a part of the whole matrix, this whole experience that we're having, is the fact that as a society, culturally speaking, especially here in the West, self-love, self-care is what? Selfish, narcissistic, egotistic, self-centered. We have all these negative labels about people having self-interest. And thus, most people, it's like we've created the negativity as a mask for us to not actually do the truest work that we could ever do. There's nothing selfish about investing in yourself, healing your wounds, becoming a healthier, more happier, more true and authentic version of yourself. Like there's nothing better than that you could be using your time for. It's a guaranteed return on your investment. If you're spending all kinds of time helping other people, building their dreams, being a side piece in their fucking life, you're missing the whole point of this. Self-discovery to self-mastery. And that's truly the program that I teach here, is how do you go from self-sabotage to self-discovery to self-mastery? How do you do that? It's a process. And it's something that I have learned along 12 years, 46 years of life, but 12 years of very intentional, trying everything I possibly could to get the results that I needed. And at the end of the day, the heart of all that I ever wanted was to trust myself. And I was talking about self-control. You're not going to be able to control yourself. If you just think about the word control, it's red flag. It's a negative connotation. But yet we're programmed. You better get a hold of yourself. You better control your life, because if you're not in control of your life, then you're out of control. And then who's actually in charge? And it's like, it's not about that. The real healing, the real outcome that you want is self-awareness. It's so different. I went to anger management classes. They didn't teach me about how to really connect with my emotions. It just said, how do you not have outbursts or be so confrontational? How do you switch up your communication? But really, it's rooted in triggers. This is triggers. And your triggers are running subconscious. So you can't control it. Some of you don't even realize all your triggers, because triggers aren't even just something that could pop up throughout any given day. Some triggers are planted in different times of the year, different parts of the world. You smell something, see something, and next thing you know, you're fucking triggered. And some of this is so crazy that you could be triggered not about everything that's happened in this life, but this is what rocks a lot of you: past lives. You could have triggers from past lives, blockages, things that are still coming up in this life from a previous life. What is he talking about? That's the truth I believe. It makes the most sense. There's too much mystery to this entire existence for you to just latch on to just one specific belief and say, oh no, this is it. And for some reason, it's like a quick fix. It's like a magic trick. Like, oh yeah, just say these words or do this, jump up and down, or just come up here and put your hands up and say these words. And next thing you know, you're fixed. And it's like, does it really work? Are you sure? Are you sure that that's really giving you the results where you truly love yourself, take care of yourself, and you have everything to show for it? Or are you someone that's saying, nah, there's got to be something more? That was my experience. I knew that there had to be something more. And that's why I literally let go. I had this letting go process. I let go of all my beliefs, right? All of the attachments I had, everything that I'd ever been taught. And I just went straight to source. I went straight to God and said, show me what I need to know. Show me who I am. And here we are sharing this message with all of you beautiful people on this beautiful day of life. Yeah. And so one of the things that I talk a lot about is energy. And I wanted to share that with you because I don't think everybody truly understands how energy plays into this. How you are feeling is related to the vibrational energy that you are experiencing right now. And just like an energy is not flat, right? Energy rises, falls, it's waves, right? It's a wave of energy. And so you may start the morning at a low, and if you fill yourself with a lot of positivity and affirmations and really kind of really center on yourself, connect with divine, right? You can raise that energy, but then life starts to happen. Maybe someone has something happen in their life that impacts you, and then it's like you could hit back to a low, right? And then you're triggering some old stuff, and then you can get back to a high. So I did want to share that with you. I want to share something that maybe you've seen before, maybe you haven't seen before, but I think that it's important to see this right now, which this is the vibrational energy chart. And there's a difference between being contracted and expanded. And what I have experienced in my own life is that I continue to expand who I am every single day. And so when you look at this chart, it's not until you kind of start getting into some courage, right, that you start to get into more of a positive frame of being. But when you look at the low vibrational and see how this impacts you, it's like getting by. Even just that threshold of courage where you're willing to try something new, you're willing to say, I don't know, man, I have to challenge all these beliefs. I have to forgive. Oh, it's so hard. But it's like once you do it, it's like now you're just getting by. Because if you're anything below that, look, it's suffering. Suffering. And so when I say I have a desire to help reduce, if not eliminate, human suffering, we're talking about mental, emotional, spiritual suffering. Most people don't even have physical suffering. It's mental and emotional. We're creating it. You're creating your own suffering because you're still stuck in the shit from the past. And then you look at this and you're like, are you carrying around shame? Are you carrying around guilt? Are you carrying around some apathy, some grief, some fear, some, unmet desires, anger, pride, right? Thinking you know it all, closed, right? You're closed to any new ideas. You think that you have the answer. So you're closed to any new concepts. All of that is literally suffering. Think about it. Most people, this is most of the planet, but there are every day, someone new is awakening to saying, you know what? This isn't working for me. I'm done suffering. I want to take that leap of faith. I want to start getting to a place of neutrality. Neutrality is huge. Neutrality is huge because when you get to a place of neutral, you don't look at things as being good or bad. You don't look at winners and losers. You don't give a fuck about this team or that team, this social issue versus that social issue, right? Good and bad. You're neutral. You allow yourself this blank canvas to say, hold on, maybe everything I've believed is a lie. Maybe I've allowed all these beliefs that aren't even my beliefs to control me. And I now want to do some more discovery. So then you get into willingness, willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to try new things, a willingness to fall on your face, get back up, dust off, and keep going. Acceptance, right? It's kind of funny that grief is way down here, and the final stage of grief is acceptance. So before you can even just jump into acceptance, you have to have courage, you have to have neutrality, and then a willingness, right? And it's like when you say, oh, I'm a loving person, are you really? Are you really loving? We're not even like reason, loving, joy, peace, enlightenment, right? This is the flow state, is true love, unconditional love. When it says love there, it means unconditional. That means without attachments. That means that, like, you're just going to love people even if they completely hate you. Because is their hate towards you about you, or is it about them? It's about them. So you maintain neutrality, you maintain a loving, kind heart. And as you can do that unconditional love, as you can just literally not need to change people, not need to fix people, just love them, trust, right? Then you start to become more joyful. And then you get this inner peace, right? You start to live from joy. That's what most people think is happiness. Did you see that happiness ain't even on here? Most of y'all are just like, man, happy. Because happy is literally desire, right? I just need a little desire. My team winning, eating a really yummy meal that's super unhealthy for me. I get a little bit of happiness, and then I wake up the next day and I feel like shit. But there's your desire, right? That gluttony, that having to fulfill every single craving. And then you get to peace. And then the ultimate, right? It's actually the biggest category, right? Is this enlightenment. And I truly do believe that humanity as a whole, we're hitting this area right here, getting past this pride, right? Getting past the pride, and it takes stepping into the courage. So I thought that would be a really important share for you guys today. If you want, you can search for this. It's raising your vibrational frequency chart, readily available out there. But this is an important thing for you to realize. When you're looking in the mirror, where do you truly see yourself? And you can't skip. You don't get to skip. You can't go from, oh, I'm shameful, to, you know what, I'm so full of love and joy right now. I just love and joy. It's fake. You literally have to continue to do it. And it's an everyday thing. That's why I'm trying to tell so many of you. There's no quick fixes here. You got to lock in. This is an everyday 1% better every single day type program. It's really the program of life. Doing life on life's terms. It's not about perfection. It's about excellence. It's about holding yourself to a higher standard. It's about saying, you know what? Like, there's something greater inside of you, and it's your responsibility in this lifetime to identify that greatness inside of you, that gift inside of you, to develop it, and then share that. Share it with yourself, and then you start sharing it with the world. That's true. That's the truth right there. And so, with that being said, I do want to share some of the work that we do here. Because again, I know that most people are looking for what? Entertainment. Most people need to be entertained. Why do you need to be entertained? Right. What is it about entertainment that most people, when it comes to actually doing work, being focused on something, it's like we create a limiting belief that that's boring. That's boring. When it's really not that it's boring, it's that it makes you uncomfortable to sit in silence, to start looking in the mirror, because you're afraid of who you are. Deep down inside, you're afraid of who you are. You're ashamed of who you are. And you're looking for every tiny little thing that can give you a sense of relief. And so you've put your energy and your focus on other people performing at high levels so they can entertain you. When this will never be an entertainment program. This will be always looking in the mirror, always holding ourselves accountable, doing the work, making the investments. Right. And it starts with yourself. And so with that, I wanted to share one of my major philosophies is how you finish one season is how you start the next. And some of the things that I've been doing in my life, but I wanted to share with you that I did a worksheet for you guys. If you would like, you can download this worksheet on the Results Kill Excuses app. It's free of charge, right? All you got to do is print it out. I don't do the fill-inable digital. We do old school filling out forms here. And so with that being said, as you can see on here, finish 2024 strong as fuck. How you finish this year is how you're going to start next year. A lot of us are like, nah, man, but I just, I'm just going to cruise out this year and then next year starts. And then guess what? Pull it up. You got the receipts. What'd you do this year? Most of y'all are probably shocked. Holy fuck, 24 is already over. Oh my goodness. And then you're going to write it off. Oh man, it was the economy. Oh, it was the election. Oh, it was this, it was that. It's like, where's the ownership? Right. I thrived this year. I went through some incredibly big challenges. I tried some incredibly big new things and I thrived. Never once did I look at how much gas cost or milk or bread or anything, right? Zero attention to what things cost. Just knowing that God provides. I go through the store. I get what I need, what I truly need, not what I want. If I get everything I want, I'm 40 pounds heavier right now. So I get what I need. I stay locked in. I stay focused, living life with intention. And so on this sheet here, again, download the app. It's located in the printed materials section under 2024 Matters. And between now and January 1st, 2025, I want you to set an intention. What is your intention for the next few weeks? A lot of people are like, man, I'm supposed to be cruising right now. It's the holidays. And it's like, isn't that part of the problem? Part of the problem right now is everyone is moving way too fast. You're not even living life. You're just existing and doing life repetitively and so fast and so this way and that way and boom, boom, boom. And it's like, slow the fuck down. Stop. You're trying to control everything. You're trying to force everything. Like, when was the last time you just connected with your breath? To appreciate, like, you're making your morning coffee. Like, when was the last time you just said, oh, it's good to be alive. And you just allowed the present moment. But instead, it's like racing around, race. And you think by moving faster, you're going to accomplish more. And that is absolutely, that's false, man. Living with intention and being consistent every single day is what will help you to accomplish more, not doing more. Because a lot of you are already working your asses off, doing a lot of things, and you got nothing to show for it. Very little to actually show for it. And you got the receipts. Do the recap. Go through last year's photos. Go through the photos. See what's changed. See what's gone better. You know what's gone worse. You know what has not changed. And if you're wanting some change, this is where it starts, by investing in yourself. And the way that you do that is you have to start doing some things different. Instead of just like saying, well, it's Christmas. I have to do this exact thing. I have to do this exact thing because this is my tradition. This is my ritual. Well, then guess what? You get the same thing. And it does feel like there's something different in the air this year with the holidays. I don't know what it is. I think people are just realizing that, the gifts, the traditions are just like so many other things in our society. It's not filling us, as I just saw 4444 pop up. Something feels different. And Christmas is usually like my number one holiday, but something feels different this year. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that there's something different, that there's a new energy that can just kind of slow down a little bit. Are you willing to really tap into that and ask yourself why? Why is it different? What can I learn from this? What could I change this year in this moment? Not in 2 weeks from now. Now, what can you do different today? This is all you got. You don't have 2 weeks from now. You have today. And that's what really setting intentions are. So maybe your intention is to be more present each and every day. Stop to start doing like going to bed earlier, waking up earlier, spending like 30 minutes, right? Writing some things down. What did you do good yesterday? What could you have done better? And what matters today? That sounds easy enough, ain't it? How much easier could it get? Could you imagine if you did that for the next 90 days every day? Do you think you'd have some actual results? And so with this sheet, this is a gift from me to you. But nothing's going to change if you don't start to make some changes. And so we set the intention, and then this is an expansion of what I do every single day. Focus on what really matters. It's a shift from goals. If any of you have ever put a goal out there and not hit the goal, or even just in most of our like subconscious mind, goals are these things that we can usually relate to sports. And it's like it's outside of ourselves. A goal is something that's not within us, it's outside. And I think that by saying what matters to you, it personalizes it. I truly do believe that it really deepens your connection spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically to get this thing done. And the reason why it's top 9 is because next year, not at the first, but later, I think it's in March, February, March is the year of the snake, Chinese New Year, the year of the snake. What's beautiful about that is snakes do something that I think many of us need to do, which is to shed the old skin, to shed that old version of yourself, that there is grief within. There's a lot of grief in the shedding process because we're like, oh man, I really love that version of me. But I can tell you that your higher self wants to align in the present, and that this old self that's gotten you this far is happy and willing to lay itself down for you to evolve, for you to get to that expansion of self so that you can truly be filled with what? Joy, peace, love, true love. And so numerology wise, next year's a 9. This year was an 8. So we have 9 non-negotiable priorities between when, now, and New Year's Day. What matters to you? I can tell you something that I've been doing, and I can already feel the energy here. Is like in the last few days, I've been on a cleaning spree, decluttering, clearing, cleaning. Man, it feels so good. I cleaned out the studio today before I got on here, and it's like I could feel it. I could feel the energy, man. It feels so much better. And so maybe that's something that you can do, right? Is to like clear out your car, and you put that as like number 1. I'm gonna clear, I'm gonna cleanse, I'm gonna release, I'm gonna get a bunch of black bags and just start throwing shit out that I know I don't need. If you haven't touched it, worn it, looked at it in like a year more, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Release it. Release it. And that's something I've been doing. It's clearing, decluttering, simplifying my life. It's a very powerful thing. But there's 9 things that you need to focus on that matters to you, right? That truly matters to you so that you can build momentum. A lot of us, we coast through the end of the year because it's sort of like we feel entitled to do that. And sure, if that's what you want, go do it. I'm not telling you what to do. This is what works for me. This is how I show up for me. I finish strong. I learned that early on when I was running and racing. It's like, man, finish the race strong. Give it your all at the end. Don't coast, because how you finish is how you start the next. And if you want to be flat-footed, that's on you. But right now is separation season. Right now is a time where you can sit down and put 9 things down that you want to start switching up between now and New Year's Day. Things that you can hold yourself accountable for. And that's really the next piece. And what I ask in here is on there. You may not be able to read it, but it says, take a few moments to visualize each of these getting done. So before you go and do it, you start to, develop your vision, your mental clarity to say, if maybe one of the things you want to get done is you're going to give up smoking, you're going to, give up drinking, you're going to give up spending so much time watching sports and spending time on social media. You're going to start investing in yourself. You're going to start journaling. What things matter to you? You're going to start eating healthier, start meal prepping. Do it now, not in 2 weeks or less. The sooner you start, the better. But you visualize all these things, which is another part of this spiritual journey, is giving yourself the ability to pause, slow down, stop, breathe. Everybody just take a deep breath right now. In through your nose, hold, release. It's so good to breathe sometimes. Some of us, we forget because all this stuff is on autopilot. We're so blessed that you don't even got to think about breathing. But if you stop breathing, you're dead. But the power of the breath, to be able to self-regulate, especially if you're feeling stressed or your mood shifts, but to be able to write these things down that matter to you, come up with 9 things, and you don't have to do it in one session, right? If you print this out, or you don't even have to print this out, you can have a piece of paper, you can just write kind of what you see on this document here. And then this is to come back and basically do a spot check that you actually accomplished those 9 things. And at the bottom here, it says, how will I hold myself accountable to complete these personal priorities? It's another piece that as an adult, you don't want to be held accountable, right? You don't want anybody else looking over your shoulder. I'm an adult. I get to do what I get to do. And it's like, that's why you find yourself in the situation you're at. Not fully being loving, kind, generous, joyful, peaceful. You're frustrated, you're angry, you're upset, you're pretending that everything's good, but it's not. And so maybe some accountability is reaching out to yours truly, Greg at Results Kill Excuses, sharing some of your story with me, scheduling a 90-minute session and showing the fuck up to see, right, how you can learn to hold yourself accountable, because no one's going to do the work for you. Right? Seeing this and saying, cool, not for me, great. Carry on. We'll see you next year. When it is for you, guess what? It's going to still be there. ResultsKillExcuses.com in your app store. It'll still be there for you next year, man. I'll update it. It'll say 2025 finish strong. And most of us, we can't even wrap our heads around imagining what it would look like to finish every day strong. Living every day with intention, saying the things that matter today, I want to get done. And it's really just that self-accountability. But if you're depressed, if you're sad, if you're still holding on to the past, right, it's hard to move on. You've literally put yourself in a situation where energetically you're conflicted. Mentally, you say, "Why aren't things changing? Why can't anything ever go my way?" But emotionally, you're saying, "I don't want things to get better. I don't want things to improve, because if they do, then I'm gonna have to admit that I could have done this all along, and then I'm gonna feel guilty about my success." We're so funny, man. We're so funny as people. So again, I'm giving this to you. We're not going to do this live right now to just sit here and like think about the priorities. But again, you don't have to print this out. You could just have a piece of paper there, write down what you see, which is set an intention, 9 things that matter, and how you're going to hold yourself accountable. It's that simple. That doesn't mean it's easy. And so, with that being said, I would like to do some breath work, some visualization, which I think can help us to really cultivate greater self awareness in this moment throughout this season as to what really, really matters, what's really, really important to you, what's really, really going to set you up for success. And a lot of that just takes someone to kind of lead that, right? Because I think naturally we're not drawn to these things. There's so much, man. There's so much distraction out there right now. Everyone's trying to get a little bit of attention, a little bit of your time, because your time and attention means that you're putting energy and focus. And for me, at the very least, I'm just trying to like send it back to you, for you to look in the mirror and realize that you need to put all of your focus, all of your attention on yourself. And oh, fuck, that sounds so selfish. That sounds so narcissistic. But if you're not taking care of you, then who is? Who's taking care of you if you're not taking care of yourself? Because you're so busy focused on what's outside the window versus what's in the mirror. And I can guarantee you, if you improve the relationship you have with yourself, you improve the relationship you have with others. And that goes to that energy, right? You start having this unconditional love, this neutrality where you don't have to, convince somebody else of your beliefs, or the things that you're afraid of is the things they need to be afraid of. Most of us, we don't even understand what the hell we believe. And that takes a lot of self-discovery work, is to really actually start to go there with pen and paper and start to write down your actual beliefs about the most mundane things, right? What do you believe about love? What do you believe about life? What do you believe about death? What do you believe about spirituality? What do you believe about success? What do you believe about money? What do you believe about relationships? What do you believe about family? What do you believe about therapy? You have all kinds of beliefs. Most of them are rooted in fear. Most of them have limitations to it. And a lot of us are A-okay with that. I'm not. The turtle gang. I mean, it's slow is smooth, smooth is fast. We think just doing things to do things gets us ahead, and it doesn't. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And I'm here at the front, right? Saying, if I'm saying this, I'm saying it to myself first. That's the level of accountability I have. I'm like, speak slower, think slower, move slower, breathe a little slower, walk a little slower, drive a little slower. Just trust the divine timing. And really, what is that about? Patience. Ooh, patience, patience. We all want it right now, don't we? We want it right now. What do you want right now? Comment down below. What is the thing that you are like, I want it right now, please? Please, I want it right now. Everything would be perfect if I had it right now. Well, if that's true, then if you were to just close your eyes and imagine that whatever it is that you desire was actually your reality, then you could feel it. And then whether or not you had it or not, just tapping into that feeling, you realize that it's not about the thing, it's about you. You have control. Right? If you think that the sense of loneliness is going to leave when someone shows up that tells you they're going to love you forever and ever, I think we all know that how that story ends more times than not. Someone could come in and say they love you forever and ever and ever, and then they're gone. And so to sit there and realize that to love yourself forever and ever and ever is what makes you sexy, is what makes you magnetic, is what makes you authentic, to truly love yourself, but to love yourself enough that you can look in the mirror. See, a lot of people want to say, well, I love myself and I accept myself and I don't need to change anything about myself. And that's where the problems arise. That's pride. Remember the energy chart? It was on there, pride. Because if you really are looking in the mirror and you really are connecting with the divine, with God, you're going to start to tap into visions and you're going to start to see who that higher self is that's inside of you, the highest potential of who you can be. And if you think that the person you are now equals the higher self, well then shit, you don't even need this. Get on there and start sharing the good news with people. But I wake up every single day. What did I do good and what can I do better? Every single day. Even if it was like, I cheated just a little bit. The last 2 days I had late night workouts. And there was a part of me that was like, man, you worked out hard. You should go and eat a cheat meal. I'm like, I'm not going to eat a cheat meal. I know how a cheat meal will feel tomorrow. I might get a little bit of pleasure in the moment. The desire, right? That's a low desire, is low vibration, suffering. Right? I desire to, to make myself feel a little better by eating unhealthy food, but I know how I'm going to feel the next day. So then it's discipline. It's to be able to say, no, there's something bigger that's drawing me. I know I have that craving. I feel the craving. I'm not going to starve to death if I don't eat for 20 more minutes as I drive home and eat the healthy food that I truly know is going to give me life, give me more life, give me energy, superfood, vitamins, minerals, like just help me to feel just so much vigor, right? And vitality. I'm a Scorpio. The best day of the year, November 7th. And so it takes your participation. And a lot of us, it's easy to get overwhelmed. Man, I don't know where do I start? How do I do all these things? Right? If you're feeling that right now, I'm telling you, reach out to me. If you're ready to do the work, if you're ready to hear something new and look at your life and all of your life and be able to say there's something I could do about it, something I could change, right? Greg at resultskillexcuses.com. I am so grateful for every single person that I have met with. Total strangers reaching out, looking, being courageous. Remember, that's that courage threshold. It takes a lot of courage. I mean, when I hit my rock bottom, it took courage for me to ask for help. And I saw that. I saw that on this little keychain. I was in this VA clinic And it says it takes a real warrior and courage to ask for help, something along those lines. And I said, you know what? That's probably right, man. Because I'm afraid to ask for help. I need to fucking ask for some help, man. I can't figure this shit out. I need help. I'm broken, I'm hurting, and I can't keep living like this. And I hope that's not I hope it doesn't take that for you. But some of you, I know you're in that lull. You're in that real dark spot. Do not give up. I keep saying this as I've mentored many, many people throughout a dozen plus years. There's two types of people. When you hit that rock bottom or that tower moment and everything starts to collapse or the bottom drops out from under you. There's two types of people. The ones that are looking for a quick fix go running around and talking to as many people as they can saying, hey man, they tell them all about their life's struggles and they say, I'll do anything. I'll do anything that it takes to get a sense of my life being back to how it was, which is also, it's in the past. So there's that person that says, I'll do anything. And then there was the version of me at the beginning of this process over 12 years. Sobriety, doing life on life's terms. When I hit that rock bottom, I said, I'm doing everything it takes. Nothing is going to stop me from getting the result. I am doing everything. Did you hear the difference? It's so tiny. I'll do anything. That means you're not doing anything. There are some people, some of you may even be listening, you're going to spend the next year or the rest of your life looking for something to do that's going to give you something better. You're looking. Window shopping. I don't know. Maybe I'll try this one someday. Maybe I'll try that thing. I don't know. You're just looking. Versus doing everything. Doing. That's what breaks the monotony. That's what breaks the cycle, is when you start to do. That's the courage. That's what breaks you throughout this energetic. I'm going to show it one more time because it's so important. This is so important. Some of you, you don't even see in the spiritual eyes. Look at this. This is the leap of faith right here. Courage. Pride, anger. Pride is like, you know what, man, fuck that. I don't need no fucking help. I can figure this out on my own. When you know that, holy shit, if you ask for help, you're scared to ask for help. And yet that's a point of courage. And that's what breaks you from what? Suffering. That's barely just still getting by. When you just barely ask for courage. Then you have to go to neutrality. Do any of you know what being neutral is? That means you set aside all your beliefs, all your biases, all of your bullshit. It's a total reset on who you are. You just say, you know what, man? I've been living this fucking lie called my life. I've been bullshitting myself. I've been bullshitting others. I've been bullshitted too. I've been believing all this. I've been drinking their Kool-Aid and drinking theirs and drinking this and drinking that. I don't even know who the fuck I am wearing all these masks. To find the courage to say, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm going to ask for some help. I can't keep doing this. And then you go to neutrality. Because it's from that neutral place where you just set aside everything. You give the thinking mind a rest. You say, you know what? I need to really understand what I have been through. And I need to realize that I have the power to redefine all the bad things that have happened to me. And I have a willingness. Right. A willingness is being eager. I'm excited to learn about myself. I'm excited to improve myself. I'm excited to take action on things that I've been hesitant to do because I'm now operating from a place of courage and neutrality. I know that I used to say that that's too hard, but now I'm willing to take the first fucking step. Because they say if you can do it one time, you can do it 1,000 times. If you can be sober for one day, you could be sober 1,000 fucking days. If you can go to the gym one time, you can go 1,000 times. If you can eat one healthy meal, right, you can then start eating 3 healthy meals for the rest of your life. That's the willingness. And then where a lot of us fall back is we don't want to get to the acceptance to say, man, I've been living this lie. Uh-oh, who am I now? And it's giving yourself permission to have this transcended identity. It's the spiritual identity, not the ego. What's on the bottom here, the suffering, is your ego. It's who you think you are, not who you truly are. Uh-oh. Oh, fuck, man. This shit's flowing. Fuck, dude. I love it. I love you guys. I love being on here. I love just when I'm in that flow state, when I'm in that abundant state, just speaking life into this world, right? It's not rehearsed. There's no script, man. It's just, this is how you know, man. This flow is, it's literally direct connect to the source of all sources. And I love it. And I'm grateful for it because it's not mine. It's mine to share, right? It's flowing through me, right? It's flowing to me and through me out into the world. And those that hear, I'm telling you, you're called, you're chosen. 111s going across the timer right now. Lots of ones. Your time is now. Will you take action? Will you give yourself permission? I guess that's to be determined. It truly is. I'm having an incredible day. Every day it's incredible. I don't have bad days. I have character building days, which are challenging, but I don't have bad days. I have wonderful days. And that's not false. That's just waking up, PMA, positive mental attitude, filling my mind with positive affirmations from the jump, listening to positive affirmations throughout the night, setting an intention, being focused on something that matters to me throughout the day, multiple things that matter, and knowing that I'm no longer going to shrink to challenges. There's sometimes I get popped in the fucking face. There's sometimes I get rejected. There's sometimes I go through some real bottom moments. I've been feeling that recently. I feel like I'm going through a higher tier dark night of the soul. But the beautiful thing is I got a lot of tools. I've got a lot of tools that I can use to then pick myself back up so I don't stay in the grief, so I don't stay in my self-loathing, my sadness, my anger. I get back into that place of neutrality, acceptance, love, sharing. And that's what I'm so grateful for right now. With that being said, if you would like to, if you're here, thank you so much for being here. I hope that this message has reached you today, that you're hearing it on a deeper level, and that it is stirring something up inside of you, some curiosity, right? And maybe even some courage to really take some action. There's some work to be done every day. Investing in yourself is the greatest investment, man. It's not crypto. It's not gold and silver. It's not real estate. The greatest investment is the time that you focus on yourself, learning about yourself, developing yourself, right? Cultivating that gift, right? Finding the gift inside of you. Do you know that there's a gift inside of you? When I say gift, what is that? There's like a talent. There's something that you have that comes so natural to you. And most of us, we're afraid to share it. Because again, we're comparing. Oh, well, they're better than that than me, and I'll never be good enough. And it's like, man, that gift was for you. It's inside of you. And I believe that we're getting to a place in humanity, in this timeline, where the spectacles, the entertainment, all the bullshit, man, it's really starting to fade away. Yeah. And the real journey is the connection to the higher self with it. And the real relationship for you to heal yourself. A lot of you feel old. You want the fountain of youth, right? Start to learn how to reparent your inner child, to love your inner child, to connect with that. And we can do that now. We can do that right now. So, with that being said, I am going to, if you'd like to, let's do some breath work. If you're up for it, it'll probably be a breath work followed by a visualization exercise. I don't really put a time limit on these things, so you're welcome to join. You're welcome to jump off. You're welcome to watch it at another time. But you do want to find yourself in a comfortable place. You want to just get cozy. For some of you, it could be cool to like get in a comfy chair or even in your bed and like wrap up in a blanket. Maybe, just get cozy, get warm, just be comfortable, feel warm, feel comfortable, feel safe, whatever that feels like to you. It'd be a good time to do that now. Some people always say you got to be sitting up and this and that. It's like, I think if you're comfortable, you'll give yourself the greatest potential to really experience this. I think a lot of times in the visualizations, if we haven't really spent a lot of time channeling our spirit guides, our higher selves, our inner childs, because we're so busy doing all this shit, that when those messages come through, it's like we want to block, we want to edit, we want to filter, and it's like you just let it come through. Just let whatever the message is be spoken to. Some messages are short, some messages are long. Right? And with practice, you can do this on your own. I think for a lot of us, it helps if it's guided. Right? To have these guided sessions, I think it's probably pretty helpful. So let's get into it. Let's see where this goes today. Let's see what goes today. Let me clear the air. And go ahead and just start to connect with your natural breathing. And that starts with just in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just real gentle and soft. Just be present. In through your nose and out through your mouth. You just want to just continue to connect with your breathing. Let all your focus fall on the breath. This beautiful exchange of life force energy. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you continue to do that, here in a moment, we're going to start taking some deeper breaths. And in those deeper breaths, you can take in a breath as deep as you can. Not yet, just continue focusing on the regular, just your normal breathing. I'm just basically guiding you through what we are going to experience a few rounds of, which is a deep breath in through your nose, as deep as you can, and then you're going to hold. And as you hold, I want you to like tense up, flex muscles, fists, tense. So we're going to go from being super relaxed to really tensed, holding your breath. It does help if you can put focus on your third eye right here between your eyebrows. You just can focus there. And then I'll do a countdown. And as you release that breath, I want you to let everything go. All the stress, all the tension, and it can even be exaggerated. And I'll demonstrate real quick what I mean by that. So it's like an in through your nose with a hold, and then the exhale. It feels really good. And you want to get every tiny little bit of air out through that exhale. But that exaggeration, it's like we're so pent up. We're so trying to control how we look and worried about how other people see it. And in this moment, it's just be seen by yourself. Be free. Be free to be you. Be free to be present. So let's just go back into the breathing in through your nose, gently, and out through your mouth. We'll do one more of those, and then we'll begin these deeper breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And on this next one, you want to take it in as deep as you can, all the way in through your nose, and even a little extra at the top. And as you hold, tense up. I want you to tense up, flex, more, tighter, face, fist, arms. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, release, let it all out. Let all that tension, let all that pressure, let all the worry and doubt, the guilt, the shame, just leave your body. And as you do, let's go back into that one more time. In through your nose, deep, all the way in, and hold. And as you're holding, I want you to flex, squeeze your legs, squeeze your feet, squeeze your hands, your chest. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, more. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, release, let it all go. Just let everything just release and exit from your body. And let's go ahead and take in just a natural breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's do one more of those, knowing that we have a big breath coming up here in just a moment. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And then let's take in that last deep breath. Big breath. Go in through your nose all the way. And a little extra at the top. And hold. And as you hold, squeeze one more time. Squeeze more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You're doing good. Keep holding. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Release. Let it all go. And if you need to, maybe stretch out your neck, move your body, give yourself a hug, do some self-soothing, right? If you're going through a lot of stress right now is a good time. After those breaths, you should feel definitely a reduction in the stress, but maybe you just need to pat yourself, right? On your stomach, on your chest. Maybe just pat yourself and tell yourself this as you're patting. You're just giving yourself a real nurturing pat on your heart chakra. Tell yourself that everything's going to be okay. Tell yourself this. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. This is a real important time for you right now to be here, to learn to self-soothe, to learn to truly love yourself, to show up for yourself. And as you're sitting there in this comfortable, quiet, safe space, you've done some self-soothing and you're doing some breath work. I want you to just allow, if your eyes aren't closed, to just allow your eyes to close. And take in another breath and out in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to picture yourself walking barefoot along the most incredible beach. that you've ever been on. I want you to hear the seagulls. I want you to hear the waves crashing. I want you to feel the warmth of the sun and that cool sand in between your toes and your feet as you're walking along this coastal, tropical paradise. And as you're walking along, I just want you to just be present, just feel that everything is perfect in this moment. The sky is clear, the sun is warm, there's a cool, refreshing ocean breeze. The water is glistening and so clear, so beautiful. And as you're continuing to walk so freely, you begin to feel a weight around your waist, as if it's beginning to get harder and harder and harder to walk, as it's slowing you down and pulling you back. You went from just being free and easy to now it's like you can barely move, and yet you just keep trying, pushing forward, but there's a weight. It's wrapped around your waist, and you're struggling. You're literally even crawling to like a bear crawl to say you just want to continue to fight through, and you're not quite sure what has happened and what has shifted, but yet you're struggling to move forward in your life. And eventually the weight gets so heavy that it stops you in your track. You're exhausted. And it's in that moment that you decide to look down and you see that there's a strap around your waist. And as you turn around, you realize that there's a line that's attached to an anchor. And unbeknownst to you, this anchor seems to have appeared out of nowhere. But as you think back on your life, you know that underneath the surface, you have been carrying around a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of emotions, a lot of negativity, just a lot of life circumstances that have really caused you pain, grief, sadness, anger, betrayal, abandonment. And it dawns on you that this anchor symbolizes all of that weight, all of that burden. And you begin to connect with that symbol of this burden, of this weight that you've been carrying around throughout life. And as you look down on the beach, you picture that there's a box. It's a treasure chest. And you feel moved to pick up the treasure chest. And you realize that it's locked. As you try to open it, you realize that because it's locked, it won't budge. And you sort of look around the beach and you realize that there's a key. But the key is just outside of your grasp. And frustrated, you try and force the anchor forward, but you cannot reach the key that unlocks this chest. As you struggle to reach the key, you finally realize that it's impossible. And right as you're about to give up, you see that there's a knife within your reach. And you look at the knife and you notice that written on the blade of the knife is a message for you. What does the message say that's on that knife? And as you grasp the knife in your hand, you receive this message, you realize that this knife can actually cut the rope that has you attached to the anchor. You're now faced with the decision. Do you cut the rope to free yourself from your past? To be able to reach for the key to unlock this treasure chest that you have discovered, this treasure chest that has found you? Or a revelation comes to you and says, if you don't want to release your past, you can turn around and go back to where you came from. And the anchor can stay attached. So it's in this moment that you make that decision. Do you return to where you came from? Or are you finally at the place where you release your past by cutting the rope that has you attached to this burden? Make your decision now. For those of you that are not ready to cut, I wish you well. For those of you that have found the courage to cross that threshold, to release your past, all the burden, all the guilt, all the shame, all the sadness, all the pain, take one moment to stand there in your freedom, to feel the lightness. And as you look to the anchor, it slowly starts to immerse itself into the sand and disappear. You now turn around and you reach the key. And as you pick up the key, with great excitement, you smile, knowing that you have accomplished an incredible moment in your life along this spiritual journey. And as you turn to walk towards that treasure chest, someone walks up to you. It's someone you know. You see a familiarity about this person. And they greet you, and you realize that it's your higher self. You embrace, and they begin to look you in your eyes and tell you how proud they are of you for getting to this point, knowing that you will never be the same, nor would you want to. This is the fulfillment of your life's journey. Spiritual awakeness, expansion of who you truly are. They say they have a message for you, and that you need to hear this message before you open this treasure chest. With great excitement, you say yes. They ask if they can share the message with you, and they begin to speak. Receive the message now from your higher self in this moment. And as your higher self finishes sharing with you this very important message, the two of you re-embrace. You thank them for being here in this moment. They thank you for being here as well. They say that they will be here anytime. You can return to this place. And they tell you that there's a very important message and a very important gift inside that treasure chest. And that it was only because you had the strength to release the burdens that the timing now could be just right for you to receive this gift and this message. They hand you the treasure chest, and you put the key inside the lock. And as you open the treasure chest, I want you to see the gift that is in there. And I want you to also notice that there is an old treasure map type of paper that is folded in half that has another message for you. As you set down the treasure chest, I want you to open up this piece of paper and receive the message written on it. And as you receive your message, you look to your higher self, they look to you. They tell you how proud they are of you and that you're doing a great job. They say they'll see you soon, and they walk away. And in that moment, you look at your gift as you're holding this piece of paper and you put it in your pocket. And you begin to enjoy the sun, enjoy that cool ocean breeze, enjoy hearing the crashing of the waves, feeling that ocean air. And you begin to walk down this incredible paradise. And as you walk down the paradise, this beach, the sun is now beginning to set. And you look over and you see a bench. And you sit down calmly on the bench with your gift, with the messages that you have received today. And you are just filled with a sense of gratitude. It's as if you finally have been seen and heard. It's as if this revelation that everything that you had been through was all worth it. And that you now have the courage, the clarity, and the determination to move forward with your life in a way like never before. And in this moment, I just want you to reconnect with your breath. Feel that warmth of the setting sun. And as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, I'm going to begin to counting down from 5. I want you to just slowly start to connect with your body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and open up your eyes. Do any kind of stretching you need to just open up. Give thanks. Give thanks for this moment. Let's just come back into just reconnect with the space that you find yourself in. And just find space to give thanks. Give thanks for all that is, all that ever was, and all that ever will be. I thank you all so much for participating in today's show. These lives have really been a blessing to me, and I hope that they're a blessing to you. I really do hope that you find the time and the space to really sit back and figure out 9 things that matter to you between now and the beginning of the year. That means you start taking action today, if possible. Doesn't mean that this is stuff that you write down to take action after New Year's. This means this is stuff you're going to do between now and then to build the momentum, to build the strength, to get the clarity, to really start getting some traction in your life so that you can smash down the door to 2025. I thank you all. Thank you so much for all the interactions, the comments. Continue sharing the message. If you're looking for more work, again, we've talked a lot about the Results Kill Excuses app, right? There's 5 courses, over a month's worth of self-discovery work, free. If you'd like to purchase a printed workbook, you can do so by ordering it through the app. And be on the lookout for a big announcement coming up in the next week. As I see 1, 2, 3, 4, that's go time here and every day. It's time to go. It's time to put into work. But be looking for a big announcement. I have a really special new product that's coming out. It's going to be called the one-on-one, or the 1% Everyday Self-Accountability Journal. And I think it's something that's going to help a lot of you that have been talking about journaling, have been thinking about journaling, have been trying to figure out what journaling is, this is going to be an opportunity for you to plug in with some guidance, with some direction. And it's going to be broken down into 4 volumes, 90 days each. And I think it will definitely help you to start smashing some goals, some dreams, and some desires that you have. So thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week, if not sooner. I love you. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it won't be worth it. Greg's out.